Look, I mean, I don't know if I can curse. You know, I curse like a sailor. I'm
No,
trying
no,
to be as kind
yeah.
as
This
possible.
show is
Yeah.
18 plus. You can't cuss. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. I don't sugarcoat shit. Like I
Hmm.
know what people were in my life at that time based on where my energy was, and I attracted certain experiences so I can get here. That shit was hot energetic trash. It was soul sucking energy. It was energy that I did not I appreciate now because I've learned. I've had master teachers that have taught me about me, how to love myself based on what they were doing by not reciprocating. I had people that were in my life that didn't want to help themselves, that would go to drugs and alcohol and not want to do the work. And then I noticed that I was also partaking in alcohol and watching them succumb to their fear. They're not wanting to heal by having liver issues, by having lung issues, and all these different things. And these were friends I've had since my childhood, like high school, college, um, record label days, meeting people through the club and traveling. And I just didn't want to deal with that shit anymore. I said, I'm not there. I don't want to deal with that. And by seeing where people were, I knew where I wanted to be. And this is not the energy that was needed for me to continue to prosper and succeed based on what was required of me by what spirit has demanded of me. Because I have my walk and I have my path. And with me being the age that I am now, now I can really sit back and look at all these years of experiences that I really didn't need to have, but I learned so much and I've gained so much wisdom and clarity that when it was time for me to reflect and go in for myself, I said, yeah, I've been around that. I don't need that. I don't want to attract that anymore. I don't want it. I claimed it and it was done because I was ready to take those steps. And I'm good with that. I have a handful, two, maybe three friends that I can really talk to,
Hmm.
and I'm okay with that because I have plenty of spirits. I have plenty of ancestors. I have plenty of eguns and all kinds of beings that come to me now that assist me so that I can assist others so I can do the work that I've been put here to do. And everybody can't walk that walk with me, and that's okay. People come for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And with me
People come
having that
for a reason.
clarity,
Hold on. People come for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Yo,
yes.
punchlines. Yo, Nikki be dropping them punchlines. People come for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. All right, one second. You say you got, the amount of people that you can really connect with, the friends that you call friends. There's no more than one, maybe two or three, and then you're good with that because you got plenty of spirit. That is scary alone for most people. It's like, oh my God, she's talking to spirits. What is she talking about? This is very scary for most people because I mean the idea of spirit is depicted as something extremely scary. And I mean, I would understand why, obviously, but can you please maybe explain that in a way that is understandable and that clarifies what this truly means? Because I think there's really a lot of misconceptions when we speak about this kind of things. Because again, most people are not initiated. Most people are usually regarding these practices or these system beliefs, or even just practices as well, as I said again, as black magic, as this and that and the other. And there are people who do and practice these kind of things, but this is not what we're talking about here. So please go ahead.
Yes, so when I say spirits, these are energies that are coming here to assist us. These are ancestors that have not transitioned fully or that are looking to assist you. Um, there are entities and spirits come from many different places, and we pick up on these. And when I say I speak with them, it is a real conversation because I have opened myself up to be receptive to assist people. And it is nothing, in order to really explain it, it would, half of it is to experience it, but the other half is to be aware and awakened to what is happening at this time on this planet. So when I sit here and I pray, or when you meditate, you hear the voice. Some of you hear the voice, some of you don't. Some of us are clairaudient, which means we hear, clairsentient, clairvoyant. There's all different kinds of ways that we feel or see. Some of us are empathic and we feel each other's feelings. And I see, I hear, I feel, I know by experience. And I just open myself up to be receptive to that. Everybody has their gift that they came here with. And when I decided to own that gift, they started coming. Spirits started coming. And they're not spirits that harm people or that are negative necessarily. They're just here and they exist here. What we see with our eyes is not all that's there. And when we're young children, if you listen to children that have just, that have not been here as long as we have as adults, they'll tell you specifically what happened in their last life, if that was something that existed for them, if they're a recurring spirit that has come back again to have their experience, if that's what you believe in. Some of them recall how they passed. Some of them see things, and they may call them spirits, fairies, men, whatever. And adults say, oh, that doesn't exist. But when you look at spiritual systems and not religious systems, all of these things do exist. So when you open yourself up to the thought process to really understand even coincidence or a daydream, and then it actually comes to life, that's something that you're experiencing already, or you have a foresight. So you have to open yourself up to receive this information, because all of it is here. And most of us, if all of us, have the ability to access it, we just run away from it because we don't understand it. And the only reason why we really run from it is because there's no understanding, or we've been brainwashed into a system that prevents you from actually seeking the real truth that's out there, which is we are spiritual beings. Our bodies are vessels. The energy that holds this body together is our spiritual energy. And without that, we're not here. We don't exist. We have consciousness. This is where this energy sits. I mean, we're seriously, when I think about my body and I think about my spirit, even when I look at myself talking, I'm like, man, I'm experiencing this right now, because I know what it's like to be outside of my body. I know what it's like to have a serious dream and feel like I'm in there, and wake up and it feels like I had a 10-hour workout. So
it's interesting because most people also, I think, have this. Not to cut you, Nikki, but most people have these experiences, but they don't associate them as such, in such ways, and use such qualifications to actually express or explain what they perceived through this. As you just said, for example, sometimes you have this feeling that you're outside of yourself, and you can look at yourself doing something or experiencing a situation. Just for example, like an accident, right? So if you look at the accident coming, there's a sense, most people who have had accidents, it's like time stops, and they can literally see things happening to them, but they are not there anymore. Or something that's about to happen to them, and they're just like pushed in a completely different environment from that accident. It's like, and they come out of it like without a scratch on their body, and it's like they some of them were because it's almost like there's a documentary on Netflix about that, about life after death, right? Is there such a thing as death, and is there such a thing as absolute nothing after you're gone? And my belief is that of course not, and however it is indeed complex. But when you have these kind of experiences, when it's like an out of body experience, you're quickly checked back into reality. No, but come on, man, that's your imagination. But why would it be my imagination if it's something that I actually felt and I experienced? You know what I mean? It's like society and the systems in place are willingly shutting people down for expressing or even just being vocal or verbal. And as you just said, it starts from childhood. That is a deep wound, because as a child, you're being stripped away from something that is real to you, but because you don't know how to express it, and you have parents who are completely not open to these things because of their system beliefs or whatever, you know, they'll just make sure that you get obliterated from that from that experience, which creates, I guess, some of the big traumas that or lead to more traumatic experiences because you didn't have the chance to encounter parents or people that I guess supported you or helped you sort of like understand what it is that you're expressing. It's like, for example, you see little babies or 3 years old child talking like adults telling you about life and death, and you're like, dude, these babies talking like a grown up and reasoning, but like a baby, but reasoning like, life is amazing, and life is so, this is why life is, and that baby explains to you why life is amazing, why it's not worth it to spend time fighting with one another. And it's like, yo, isn't that an old soul coming back? So yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. So when I hear people say, "Oh, that's not real," or try to limit my experience, I just cut them off. Like, I can't get you to
I feel
understand what
that.
I'm experiencing. Like, don't don't try to say that it's bullshit when you haven't even tried to do the research to understand where I'm coming from. And those type of people are not in my life anymore. Because I know what I'm doing. I know that when I open my oracle and they're communicating and somebody's grandmother comes in and says, "Oh, um, tell her I'm here. I'm here to help her with this reading." Outside of
Hmm.
tarot, then you get into real yes and no questions. And in most spiritual traditions, they're either throwing bones, obi, cowrie shells, coconuts. I use coins. People use sticks. I mean, they divine by drawing, automatic writing, and things of that nature. I've seen a lot, and
Hmm.
based on what I've seen and what I'm open to seeing and being receptive to, there's many different ways. There's not just one way to contact and get in touch with spirit, but it starts again with wanting to heal yourself and calling on that energy, because you have to remember, this is me. My blood is in here. My ancestors' blood is in here. God's
Hmm.
blood, or the creator's blood, or the source's blood is in here,
Hmm.
or the DNA.
Hmm.
So all I'm doing is accessing what's in there by
Hmm.
meditation, by sound and frequencies, things that I know that will help me access myself, because
Hmm.
nothing is really outside of me. It's already within me. So if I don't do myself justice by trying to find out more about me and that assistance, then I'm doing myself a disservice. We all
Yeah.
have that within us. So we all bleed. We all come from one source. It's like it's anything that's been created outside of me to limit my experience or to tell me something rather than educate me about me, it's not for me. So some people
100%.
operate in that realm, and that's cool. But in the age that we're in right now, the shift, all these things is shifting constantly, but now there's really an awareness. Enlightenment and technology is really at the forefront. We have technology to assist us on in our enlightenment. We also have nature that's assisting us with that. Everything's ever evolving and ever changing. And what's consistent with me is the assistance from the spirit, assistance from my ancestors. When I go to them and talk to them, when I do offerings, when I sit there and have gin with them and we're just shooting the shit, like it's not like they're just sitting there with their legs crossed in a chair and I see them. No, it's me hearing them and feeling them. So if people don't want to understand that, that's okay. But they come to me for readings. They come to me for their
So,
clarity, whether they understand it or not. And I give them that clarity. I show them what I'm doing. And there's no more fear behind that, because we're having a conversation with you and your folks. We're not going far outside. We're starting with you first, and
so
that's